We're on. All right. Welcome. It's just a minute or two after 2 o'clock, July 28th. This is the board meeting for the Mountain Arts Community Center, Signal Mountain. We are having our meeting live streamed, and we're meeting on Zoom because we're still in a pandemic and we are safer apart. So I'm glad you're all joining us. Hello, everybody. My name is Ryan Walker. I am the chair of the board. I will go ahead and take a roll call. Rob Inman.
I'm here.
Angie Landrum.
Here.
Sally Halloran.
Here.
Ellis Gardner.
Here.
All right. Our town liaison, Susanna Murdoch, is not joining us, from what I understand. And also with us, joining us today, Boyd Beal, town manager, Sam Ewan, who I never mentioned Sam, but he helps make sure this live stream happens, so we appreciate Sam. Also, Dick Graham is joining us, is that correct? So we have a few guests today.
Where is Seth?
Oh, I don't know why I didn't write Seth's name down.
He's coming in at this time.
Is he? Okay.
Yes.
That's why I didn't write his name down. I see him on the list.
Sorry, I'm late.
All right, Seth Graham, you're here. Great. Welcome. All right. First order of business, we'll keep this meeting short today, I'm assuming. We still have a vacancy on the board. Boyd, do we have has the town received any applications for the vacancy on the MACC board?
Not to my knowledge.
Yeah.
I can double check on that, but I haven't been made aware of any coming in.
Okay, thank you. So we still have a vacancy. If anybody knows anyone who would like to be part of our advisory board, visit the town website, fill out a form, an application. This is a community organization, so we would love to have a full board of representatives. Okay, so that's still need to fill that. We'll move on. Since the SMEPF is now running the show at MACC and doing all the legwork, I'll let Angie take the floor and talk about what's going on at MACC.
All right. And did you want to approve minutes from the last meeting first?
Boy, I'm staring at my notes and not listening to them. Thank you. I'm so bad at Zoom meetings. This is terrible. Let me do that first. Thank you, Angie, since you are in charge of the minutes. Thank you for taking the time to write up our minutes from our meetings. Our last meeting was on June 30th. Same time right here. And so we do need to approve your minutes. Has everybody actually had a chance to read those? Or has anybody not had a chance to read those, I should say? Would someone like to make a motion to approve the minutes? Okay. I move to approve the June 30th minutes.
Second.
Who seconded?
Seth.
Seth, thank you, Seth. All right. Does anybody have any discussion? All right. I'll go ahead and take a roll call for all those who approve the minutes. So start with Seth Graham. Seth Graham, do you approve?
Yes.
I'll include myself. I approve the minutes. Rob Inman,
Yes.
Angie Landrum,
Yes.
Sally Halloran. Sally? I'll loop back in case Sally's got her microphone off. Ellis Gardner. Ellis, do you approve the minutes?
Ellis, you're on mute.
He's nodding his head, yes.
Well, I did not see that,
On the phone all day long. You're giving out advice all day long. You're doing it as a
and loop back to Sally.
Can you not
To
hear
Sally.
me?
Oh, okay, there you are.
Just barely.
I'm quiet as it is. Yes,
All right. You approve minutes? Yes or no?
yes.
Okay. Thank you kindly. That would be a unanimous. Okay. Thank you. Now we will move on to the SMEPF update.
Okay. The SMEPF board met last Tuesday, so I'm just going to look over my notes from that meeting real quick and see if I can skim them and let you know what we talked about then. Let's see. Pollinator garden is still going in, waiting on dirt. I think we're still waiting on dirt. A little library was installed in the lawn close on the Kentucky Avenue side over near the rock wall. And there's also a picnic table and a new bench there. There's also a new bench up on the upper parking lot. We've had a lot of families visiting, hanging out at the top parking lot with bringing their bikes, kids' bikes and stuff. So that's been cool to see. The space is getting used. Let's see. We voted to spend money on a dishwasher for the kitchen, new dishwasher. And we're removing the old ballet floor from the ballet room. It actually belongs to Ballet Tennessee and they have closed. So they're going to come get that. And we are installing a new ballet floor in room 9. So we're moving the ballet room to a different room so that we can then work on the old ballet room. So that'll be going in room 9, which is in Wilhite Hall. I can't remember if last month, I think, last month, Ryan was actually watching the HVAC being installed in the staff office in room 3. So that's now finished and it feels great. It's nice and cool in there. So 3 rooms got air conditioning this month. And the next on our list, I think, is rooms 7 and 9, which is 7 is currently the waiting room that we had just finished before closing, and room 9 will be the new ballet room. So those 2 are next on the list. We've been contacted by Chattanooga Ballet. They're interested in teaching ages 4 through 8 up here at the MACC. They're starting a new class, doing an outreach to this area and hoping to bring some people in from, what's the town at the bottom of the hill on the other side?
Dunlap.
Dunlap. um, Painter Ready came by today. I haven't gotten an update from Dick and Cheryl. I wasn't there, but they're looking at the windows in the theater, getting those scraped and painted.
Yeah, they decided to rather than try to coordinate with the window people, just window folks to get it done, and they can come back in and do their work just as easily after the windows are installed, which right now is going to be tomorrow morning. Unless I hear different this afternoon, the windows will start going in tomorrow morning.
Just barely hear you, Dick.
Well,
Yeah, you're cutting out a little bit. So the windows, theater windows, are going to start installation tomorrow morning?
tomorrow morning, yeah. Unless they tell me something different this afternoon. Right now,
Okay.
or tomorrow morning.
Well, that's exciting. Okay. Let's see. Nightfall is still happening. Let's see. This is, I guess, the rest of them, and I'm not sure how many are left, but we're finishing out the Nightfall season at the MACC. Okay, and I think the rest of our discussion is probably what you guys are interested in as well, is discussing reopening at least a little bit for some of our teachers and the COVID-19 safety precautions we're taking in order to do that. So I think, emailed everybody our COVID-19 requirements that we sent to teachers and students. So hopefully you can see that now. And I asked Nick to join us so that he could talk to you about that. He's the one who researched it and pulled it together. And he's the one who's been talking to all of our teachers to find out who's interested in coming back and who's still wanting to wait. So there you go, Dick.
Okay. Can everybody hear me now?
That's better.
So far,
Better? Okay. As close as I can get to the mic now.
Don't do that.
Yeah, so I emailed the COVID-19 requirements to all of you, and basically that's put together from some lists that I found of other organizations of similar type as ours of what they were doing to get open back up again, and nothing really unusual in there. One thing that which would have been a big problem is all the students, the parents, brought the entire family with them. So that's one of the main things we're doing is limiting access to the building. We're keeping only allowing in only the students, and on occasion a parent. If a parent needs to come in, we can let that parent come in. But it's just going to be teachers and students. No extra kids running around in the hallway like we used to have. Keep all the doors open so people touch things as little as possible. One list I found that down there, it said, when you enter a building, think about everything you're about to touch. Do you really need to touch that? So we're trying to limit as many touchable things as we can. The water fountains will be closed. Doors will be open. There really won't be a need to touch much of anything. Lights already be on. They don't have to touch those. We're not going to completely shut down the restrooms, but we're going to discourage that use. You know, the kids are only here for a half hour. Surely they can come and go without going in the restrooms. That would be a big cleaning thing. Also, Paul Hendricks at the health department looked over what we were doing, and his main change that we made was what we do if we have to close, if someone is tested positive. And we had some specific requirements of when they could and couldn't come back and testing they had to get. What he suggested was don't tie it down to real specifics, because the whole COVID situation is changing everything all the time. And the things we think we might need to do now, a month from now, there might be some other thinking about it and would totally change. So his big suggestion was to keep them away for 14 days and then not allow them back until the health department has released them from quarantine. That way, whatever the requirement is of the health department at that time, that's what they'll have to adhere to. And then we're also going to encourage everyone in their life outside the MACC, be as careful as they can, as cautious as possible, so that we don't have a situation where we do end up having to shut down. We don't want it brought into the building. So everyone just needs to be careful all the time, wearing masks, hand sanitizers, staying away from large groups. Most of the teachers that I've communicated with so far, which is almost all of them now, are going to be coming back. We have one that will not be, she's one of the ballet teachers. She doesn't want to come back right now and didn't mention a time in the future. We have one ballet teacher that wants to wait and come start her classes again after the first of the year, when she's a little more sure of what's going on. She also has small kids, which are going to be in school, some of them, and I think there's just too much up in the air with her right now. The other two ballet teachers that we have had here before want to start around September 1st, which will be good because Chattanooga Ballet will be starting on the 17th. They have been doing classes all summer and have been, from what they tell us, very successful. Remarkably, a 4-year-old can be told to keep a mask on, and they do it. They said that's actually one of the easiest things that they've been able to do. The social distancing was a little more difficult, but they said they caught on to that fairly quickly, and they've not had a lot of problems with that. So we'll be able to observe them for their first 2 weeks of classes, make sure it's really working, and then we'll bring in the other 2 ballet classes after that. We've had a few of the other teachers, I can't remember which ones now, that want to start the September. So there's a little variation. So we will be starting slow. We won't have a full complement of teachers here at all at the beginning. So that'll give us time to get things on the ground a little bit. And we've been doing these procedures with the Nightfall concerts. When the Nightfall bands come in, they wear their mask during setup and tear down. We do the hand sanitizers. They fill out a health form. We do the temperature checks, all of that. And everybody has been remarkably cooperative. We haven't had anybody that raised a fuss about it. Most of the bands lately, particularly since I'd say around the 1st of July, when they get out of their cars, they're putting their mask on and coming on in the building already masked. So, so that's about where we're in on all that.
Dick, you may have answered this because you were breaking in and out some there. I'm not really sure you did. Who's accountable for all this? Who's overseeing at the door? Who's making sure the temperatures are taken and that all the rules are being followed?
Well, we'll have someone stationed at the door, all volunteers. That's what we're doing this year.
Right.
Would welcome any of you all who want to take a turn at the door. That would be good. But there will be somebody stationed at the door, greeting everyone that comes in and making sure that they're doing exactly what they're supposed to do. And that's where we have to impress it upon the teachers and the students' parents, that if things go wrong, we're going to have to close. So everybody has to come in and do exactly what they're told, what they are required to do.
I understand you want to keep it open, but is there a threshold where you will say, no, we have to close?
We really haven't talked about that. I think we'll have to see as we move forward. If, you know, in general, up here on the mountain, if cases suddenly really spike, that would be cause for taking a review of this and seeing if we need to remain open. I think that'd be true for any town facilities at that point. The way it's been going, we're getting about 2 or 3 new cases a day. which is not great, but it's fairly slow progress, and it's not, we're not seeing that rate increase. As far as here at the MACC itself, if we had, I don't know, if we had more than one case, if we suddenly had 2 or 3 cases, we probably need to step back and take a look. I think it's a lot like Paul Hendricks says, just keep assessing, keep looking at it, seeing what's happening, and be open to making some radical changes if we have to.
Yeah, I'm glad you talked to Paul. That's what better resource is there? That was great. Is it going to be the usual access? Is it going to be people from Signal and from Walden who are going to be eligible for this? Maybe somebody else knows the answer to that.
Eligible to be a student? Is that what you mean?
Right.
Where anyone can be a student.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. There are questions that have been fielded to me about this, and I'm literally reading them off.
Okay, good, good.
Since there is no executive director, who is going to be accountable for liability, I guess? I mean, we're leaving ourselves open here if we're letting the public come in again at a time when the numbers aren't good. I question the schools opening. I question a lot of things that are happening out there because it's not getting better. Mm-hmm. The early comments were we got to let it at least plateau and then decline. Well, that's not happening. So who's going to be liable? Who's going to be responsible? Is the town?
SMEPF is in charge of staffing and managing the MACC right now.
Right.
Yeah. So a big difference, I think our risk is smaller than, I'm concerned too about the schools. I don't think kids should be going back to school yet. Big difference with the MACC and a school is that our classrooms are 20 by 30, 600 square feet. We have huge classrooms. For the most part, it's going to be 2 people in that room, the teacher and the student. Almost everything that's coming back is one-on-one lessons. Everybody's wearing a mask. The kids are there for 30 minutes. We have 2 plexiglass wall dividers for the teachers who need that, who, that would work with their instruments so they can sit behind a wall.
Excellent. I'm glad to hear that. I didn't know.
Yeah. The only groups coming back are the ballet teachers, and they are very small groups, and they too can spread out, and they're little kids, and they're not a high energy, high exercise like the Taekwondo's not coming back. They didn't feel safe doing that, and none of the adult exercise classes are coming back. It's just, for the most part, one-on-one music lessons. And for the small groups, the ballet groups, they have plenty of room to social distance, and they're very willing to do that. The teachers who have been here before are excited about coming back, even though they know they're going to have half as many students, most likely, as what they're used to. So it's a huge pay cut for them. But I mean, they've been missing out on pay entirely, and they're missing just teaching. So they're just excited about getting to come back and teach. Sure. But they are, we're all in the same boat. None of us want to get sick, and none of us want anyone else there to get sick. So we're just going to depend on everyone to be super careful. And if they're not, then we don't let it happen anymore. And the people in charge are the SMEPF board. So even though we don't have one director, we have a group of people making this decision together. And in that group is a doctor and the wife of the county health official. And, we're all very concerned, and we're all being very careful and want to just do the best we can.
Well, the safety protocols are very impressive. I have no doubt that you've done everything you can we're all paranoid. I mean, we're all going to do everything we can. This is crazy. But I just wanted to know who was responsible. Back last year, it would have been Barb. Now it's kind of who do the teachers negotiate with? I don't know, Dick, are you who they would contact? Or I know Colleen has contacted you, Angie, with some of her questions. Who's talking here? Who's making the deals?
I've been the point of contact with the teachers,
Okay.
communicating with them, emailing, we're trying to get scheduling figured out right now. And that's going to be a difficult thing to do because we don't know yet how many students, we don't know exactly how many teachers, but that's our first task. But I'm in communication with the teachers.
But you've said how it's going with the teachers. How's it going with the students?
Well,
I know it's only been a day.
Some of the teachers have already been in contact with some of their students, and you know, it's a mixed bag there too. Some parents of those students are probably not going to send their kids here. Some are eager to get back. So, you know, everybody's being cautious, but some people are willing to do a little bit more than others.
Okay. All right. I think that's it for my questions. They were asking about a long-term plan, and I kind of laughed at that.
Yeah, it's impossible to make a long-term plan, isn't it?
Who's making a long-term plan? Who in the world is making a long-term plan?
24 hours is a long-term plan right now.
Sally, did we answer all your questions?
And the only one that I can think of is, you know, if there's some sort of threshold and if it's following other organizations' guidelines, or if there's a threshold that our area meets that you'll close, or if, but it sounds like you guys are just kind of making the decision based on your gut versus other organizations and their standards that they set, and that's fine, as long as the community knows and they understand, you know, what changes and when. But I mean, my business still won't open their doors, so.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Just more of a suggestion. I assume you doing this have a release form that people are signing that might limit your liability, that say, we know that COVID is an issue, we're coming in anyway. Do you have a release form of that kind?
We have a brief medical form that they each have to fill out, and I guess we're just making them think about their health situation before they enter the building. I probably ought to ask an attorney if you can give away your rights to everything, if you can totally release anyone's responsibility.
I'm married to an attorney, and it tells you can't stop anybody from trying, but if you have a release, it limits the effect.
Yeah.
Find what you think.
I think we can add to
look
the form.
Look into that. Yeah, we can add that at the
In
bottom.
real
of the
estate
form.
now, we're doing it with every buyer and every seller. Before you go in a house, before you let someone in your house, you've got to sign the release, or we don't put our sign out there.
We have four
Okay.
groups. They will have.
Well, we could do that at the end of our medical form. We could add that.
Okay, other questions? Is the I did not check before this meeting. I'm assuming that the rules that you've set for entering the building are posted on the website so that everybody can see that. Is that correct?
Yes, yeah, they'll be on the website, and we hope to have the new website up sometime tomorrow. It won't be a complete website, but it will have the COVID requirements. It'll have sign-in form for registering for classes. It'll have information about teachers, but it'll have enough for us to get started, but we'll be adding more to that as time goes on.
That's great.
Can you have an announcement on the Facebook page about the new website? And
Yeah, I actually put some information on there yesterday.
Okay.
About opening and the website and several other things.
I guess that's what I saw, but having the rules out there, I think is real important to make sure everybody sees that. Who are you waving at, Ellis?
Are you leaving?
Well, I appreciate that everybody is conscientious of doing everything with the utmost of safety. That's sometimes not always the case. So I'm glad that everybody is thinking about this and being concerned. And that just makes sure, that just helps us make sure everything is done as well as possible. So that's encouraging, and I appreciate everybody's questions. If there are no other questions, is there, Angie, does that wrap up what you've got going on for the past month?
I think so. I did just notice one more thing on my bottom of my notes here. Signal Mountain Playhouse is doing what everybody is doing right now, cleaning and organizing. So since they're not doing summer play, they are cleaning out all their buildings, and I think they've added on to a building. So they're going to come get their stuff out of one of the portable buildings that's up on the hill behind the kitchen. It has a leaky roof, and when the Harvey play was going on, they learned that some of their stuff was damaged. So they're going to come get all that, and that building's going to be removed. So that will improve the look of that space out there.
That's happening tonight if it doesn't rain on us.
That's great. Good. Okay. And the other portable building is scheduled to be taken out. Town guys are doing that. So we appreciate that a lot. So things are still, a lot of things are still happening. That's good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, it's a busy place for a place that's not really open.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, so. Okay. Thank you for the updates, Angie. Were there any other questions before we move on? Okay. And my only other entry was: is there any other business that anybody has to discuss unrelated? And if any of you have anything that you would like us to discuss for our next meeting in August, please let me know. Shoot me an email, give me a call. So in that case, it sounds like we've covered everything. So it's 2:36. We're getting out of here a little bit early. I'll go ahead and adjourn our meeting. Thank you for being here.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Have a good night. Bye.